rolling? Yeah. Scene 9, beta, take 1. Wait for set.
You know, you have these aspirations, you have these dreams of wanting to do something, and you're given field, and for me it's to write and direct, and you start somewhere, you start at that kitchen table with a ruined notebook and a pen, and you just start scribbling stuff, and to see, other people take interest in your work and to be genuinely moved by it to the point where they want to be, involved and participate and bring it to life, man, it's an experience that really has no words to describe it.
You know, it's really great to kind of bring like a big set experience and kind of bring it down, Yeah, we're students, you know what I mean? But that's no reason that we can't be professional.
Well, given this was my first, what I would consider to be a big project, something that, you actually go through all of the real stages of filmmaking, which is development, pre-production, production, and then post-production, and then distribution. And I've never personally seen a film from its genesis to the very end when people get to see it before.
I don't write films to become some reality star, some person that people can love and be on magazines. This is what I truly love. This is what I want. And just to be able to make the film itself is fun enough for me.
I've worked in a lot of real world projects and stuff, as a PA or an AC and stuff, and it wasn't as creative fulfilling as producing something like this, something substantial, you know what I mean?
I used to daydream all the time, and I had like crazy and creative ideas in my mind. Making a film to express how I feel and how I think is the only way I can be creative.
Basketball had been such a huge part for so long, and I didn't have it anymore. I just needed something new to fill that void, and film just presented itself to fill that void, and I started doing it. I grew to love it, have a bunch of fun with it.
So I just love to tell stories and like get into different things and like meet other people and hang out with people and have fun, and I just feel like there's no other place than acting that you can do that and like explore yourself and get to know yourself.
Like every day on this set on Lonely-ish, I just fall in love with movie making all over again. All over again.
Alright, and action.
You know, people constantly sit there and stress themselves out over the stupid, mundane shit every day. And they don't ever stop to think about what's really important. This is important. This is what matters.
But yeah, I mainly worked with Ernest and getting to know him too. I didn't know him at all before doing this. I just knew he was a freshman in the MT program. I was like, oh, freshman, great. Like, but he was really great, and it was fun to work with him.
Sharing the director role with Chad, we both had an understanding of the same vision. So we were constantly collaborating on a regular basis to make sure that everything that we were informing each other of what needed to be done for a certain scene or for a certain thing to take place, along with just to keep each other informed and just to keep the ball rolling. I found that working with Chad, especially, we really connected in the sense that we had a good understanding of what we wanted, and with that, I found that we were able to bounce ideas a lot off each other when it came time to shoot.
I got really close with Sarah. We didn't really work together a lot on set per se, but like off camera we were hanging out a lot, and I feel like our connection off camera kind of helped with the backstory of our friendship in the movie. Because that can be hard sometimes when you just like jump into something. You're like, okay, we've been best friends since we were like 6, but I don't know you. So it was nice to get to know her a little bit more.
I guess I can say I worked closely with the directors and the producers because I had to coordinate with the directors and both the producers in order to come up with new ideas, come up with new shots to frame. You know, in the midst of filming, we came up with a bunch of shots that kind of look better than what we storyboarded, which I don't know happens often in film. So I worked closely with the directors and the producers. It was a very collaborative effort.
I definitely enjoyed working with the Doorway Dolly. I really like being a key grip with the cinematographer Byron, collaborating on a lot of shots to like when there's two people working to get one shot and you're both doing completely different motions at the same time, it gets really complicated. And you need to have a perfect performance on everybody's part.
Sound, please.
Camera rolling. Come down a little bit, bro. Right there.
Beautiful.
Scene 9, dinosaur, take 1.
I think that was my favorite shot of the whole movie, just because of how fun it was to, master every single part of that shot. Every motion was crucial to having it look the way it did.
This film originally was a film meant to be made in the summertime, and I just loved the script so much. And when I gave it to Chad and Tal and Diane and Byron and etc., and they all fell in love with it, and we wanted to make it, so we wanted to adjust the script so we can make it in the fall. And I think that's where some of the pressure and some of my anxiety came up.
What I found the most challenging was the weather, the continuity, and it was hard for me because it was my first experience as an art director.
The biggest challenges on the set were probably setting up the shots because one of the most intricate parts of film is the lighting. So for every shot, we had to make sure the lighting was correct. So I had to correspond with my crew a lot in regards to framing the shot properly, and that required making sure the lighting was set correctly. That was the biggest challenge.
I definitely have to say the greatest challenges on the set were completely related to communication. When you're working with a crew of 15, 20 people, and everybody has really, really excellent ideas, it gets kind of complicated because at the end of the day, everybody wants a creative say. But at the end of the day, you're making one movie. We're making one kid's movie, one kid's vision.
It's a challenge, but it was definitely overcome, and all I have to say is communication is key. And without communication, you're not going to get anywhere because everyone could have an idea of how this movie's going to look, but if no one's speaking up and saying that, all right, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do, so on and so forth, then you're just going to get 5 different end products that everyone's basically going to argue over on what they want.
I mean, first things first, the most important thing I learned was how to communicate with it, with a crew of 15, 20 people. It was, very, very important to make sure you heard everybody else out, to make sure that you spoke out when you had, your own ideas. It was a lot of figuring out how to establish boundaries with people and figure out just what everyone else wanted out of the project to make sure that we all are doing the same thing.
After doing this, I keep getting all these people asking me, how do you find out about this stuff? How do you keep getting these parts in these movies? And, what are you... I just pay attention to what's happening around me, in the CFA and in, the acting world here. You have to read the listserv. Do it. Read it, because it's going to tell you when the auditions are. And, be open to trying new things and be available to meet people, because I've met so many people that I'm hoping, you know, these connections are like great to have. And it's just don't shy away from new things. Go for it. Because the worst thing that can happen is they can say no and get used to it.
Something I'd like to say to all film students, let alone University of Buffalo DMS students, the hardest thing to do is to just do it. I know I've met so many people that just love to talk about all these grandiose plans they have, and then when it comes time to do it, they're just either too afraid, you know, too busy, or realistically too lazy to do it. And I'm very, very grateful to have found a crew like I did with Lonelyish that was willing to go the whole 9 yards and really make something that we were all proud of. Something that would take a lot of time, a lot of effort, but still, everyone stuck it out.
After this, I kind of feel ready to tackle on anything. Honestly, like it's taken me to the next level.
It's fantastic. It's humbling, breathtaking. It's so many adjectives to describe it. It's awesome, you know? I mean, you know, when I decided I wanted to be a screenwriter, I just started writing. But that's only half the battle. The other half of the battle is making it. And through this process, I won the war.
Aaron? Excuse me? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else.
Okay, thanks.
Yo, Bree, did you hear that shit? He tried to bamboozle me.